When I got out, the main producer, Holly, she grabbed me by the collar and pulled me into the confessional room. And I'm glad they didn't show it because I was ugly crying like a 4-year-old. I just felt like I disappointed my kids and my mom and my dad and my wife. And I just felt like a total failure because it wasn't anything. I didn't have a chance to save myself. I didn't lose a game. I just didn't get picked. So I thought it was a crappy way to eliminate 11 people that far into the game. But overall, I was sad. I didn't want to let it. $4.5 million is a huge life-changing thing for me.
It is.
Honestly, I don't care about the money. I wanted to win.
Well. All things Squid related. Look who I have on the couch today here with us. Tronda Tots, girl who inspired, is Dan from the Gamboo Game. I had to come in, you happen to be one of those guests that it's been seen by millions of people, just like the rest of these other squitters. But your situation, I always like to start with the depressive part first.
Let's get after it.
And that part is when Dan got massacred. Yes, poor baby. But he got massacred. So, damn, let's talk about it.
Let's get into it. Let's get into the worst part of my whole experience right out of the gate.
So what happened? So what was your whole reaction when you saw this stuff for me? Because for those who don't know, basically, if you watch Squid Game's The Challenge, you would see a situation where this young man gets slaughtered by women. It was like they got rid of all the men and kept nothing but the women. Dan, what was that like for you to experience getting slaughtered by the women?
Well, it wasn't a surprise, that's for sure, because they all got together. They were very open about it, talking on the bunks, and it made sense. It made sense for them to try to stick together there. To me, it was a situational alliance, if you will. Because at no point, and I want to make this crystal clear, at no point was there ever during the course of that game a man that said to another man, let's get together and get these women out of here.
Interesting.
There was no men alliance. It was more of a friendship or number buddy alliance. So, and if you watch the episode closely, you'll see that even though they made this very shallow women's alliance.
I ain't gonna lie. It was very shallow.
There were 9 women.
Yes.
4 of them did not pick a woman.
No, they didn't.
So the alliance, women's alliance, I guess Netflix wanted to play that up. There was no reason for the men to get together. The men did not want to get the women out. But if you're a woman and there's only 9 of you, I say, hey, good for you. Like if you can bond together for some reason to keep yourself in the game, do whatever you have to do. But I don't think that affected me ultimately anyway. I had relationships with a lot of those girls.
Right. Y'all actually, I mean, y'all already seen, if you've seen any of these talks we've had, a lot of the women, a lot of the men, a lot of the enemies, not of their frenemies, all of them are very much so happy with each other.
Absolutely.
Absolute friends.
Yeah. So for me, at that point, what happened in marbles is what really affected the outcome for me. There were a lot of things that happened in marbles that had such a domino effect going into that snake chain or safety chain. But listen, if I'm there, I'm going to use anything in my power to move on to the next round, and that's what they did. But I don't think it really affected my outcome at all.
Okay. So when you said it didn't affect your outcome, you think that would happen anyway, or what are you saying?
I think that regardless, those 9 women probably would have made it through, whether they had made an alliance or not. Because if you're playing the game, you're from of a masculine standpoint, guys are going to eliminate the stronger guys there, I think. Mm-hmm. Not that I'm one of the stronger guys, but I think they all would have made it through.
Okay.
But certain people that supposedly had my back, Chad, did not, and made foolish decisions based on people using certain things as ploys to get through the next game. I did not draw many lines in that game. There wasn't a line I wouldn't cross. There was only one. I was not going to use my personal life or anything from outside the game as a ploy or a weapon to make someone feel bad for me, or that was a line that I would not cross. And some people crossed that line, but it worked out well for them because they were able to make it through that round.
You're absolutely right about that. You know, it's interesting. Like I find that, like you said, that some of them choose men, and yet a lot of those people made it across. But you know, to be honest with you, when I look at the people who made it to the glass bridge and the people who made it past the glass bridge, those are the people who actually made it past the glass bridge, and those were actually the people who were, like, I would say, more real about their choices when they chose to get rid of it.
I agree.
So I mean, if you analyze it that way, you kind of see it like, they chose the person that they wanted to choose, and those people made it there to, the circle of friends.
Yep.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. Now let's go. I'd like to go back to the beginning.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Like, so when you was running through that red light, green light situation, what was it like for you? Like, how many hours were you out there?
I had to be out there close to 8 hours, I think. For me, I did not need to win. I was not keeping up with people like your husband or Hannah or Teo. It was a marathon, not a sprint, and I just wanted to finish. I was not worried about winning that thing. So I was out there for a long time.
Yeah.
Freezing cold. I've had a couple close calls with death. But that was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Really?
Oh yeah.
When you say closest call with death, no, I'm gonna ask you, what was that?
Sure. I was in a really bad motorcycle accident. Almost didn't make it. After COVID, and I work out every day. I ended up with 40 plus blood clots, pulmonary embolisms in my lungs. Almost died. But nothing compared to that red light, green light. I'll tell you that.
Ain't that crazy, y'all?
Physically, it was brutal.
It's like, listen to this, like motorcycle accident, COVID, and red light, green light was nothing compared. None of those things compared to red light, green light. My goodness. Interesting. And y'all think that I'm just saying, y'all think that this is just some piece of cake and all those people. Nah, man, it's difficult as heck. I'm trying to keep my tone down, but it was hell that they went through.
It was.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
But you made it though. And that's all that really, that's really what matters the most, is that you mind over matter the whole situation. So congratulations for getting into the dorms.
That was a big step. A big first step. A lot of people, 250 plus, didn't make it past that. So yeah, that was a big step.
What did you think when you made it in those dorms?
Walking into that dorm, I mean, it was, you immediately, they kept preaching this and all the steps going up. We want this to be a fully immersive experience. Well, when you walked in, you had no choice but to be immersed in it. I mean, it was, every set in the dorms were so immaculately recreated that you were in it. And I know my head went to a different place and I was in it.
I love it. That's all, Netflix did a great job with what I've seen. And I can imagine being a character in there. Like, and that's kind of what you had to be. But most of you guys played your parts as who you were, as regular people. So I always say this, I do say a lot of this too, where because you guys were such good people, majority of all you guys were good people. Actually, I feel like everybody was a good person or is a good person.
Yeah. And
the way sometimes things are edited or where they might be, it might not seem as well, they might not be seen to be as good. But the majority of everyone there was a good person. And the thing for me is, like, because you guys were so good, it made it more difficult to make something like Squid Games, the challenge, harder to get the dramatics, it made it hard, you know what I mean? Because a lot of us, some people probably went in the game, made videos about being villains and never did one villain thing in there, and it's like, when you look at it like that, it's like, I think that's where the flaws came in. So there was not as much drama as there could have been because everybody was good. And they really wasn't playing a character like Squid Games, the series or anything like that. Sure. So it made it more difficult I feel like that's why some of the edits came out the way they did, because they need some of the drama.
Yeah, and in this game specifically, compared to Survivor, in the Challenge, and Amazing Race, Big Brother, this game, and I noticed it very quickly, and it was so cool. It quickly became of all of us against them.
Yeah.
And it was that feel and that attitude of, listen, we're all going to have to stick together here because these guards, these pink bastards are out to get us, and we're going to have to stick together. And it was so cool to watch that kind of develop organically, and it was real. It was real.
Absolutely.
We were all there for each other, even though we were against each other. The fact that we were all against the man and against the guards, it was a lot harder for somebody to be underhanded and to try to, because we all had a common goal, just to make it to the next day.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what I mean by y'all being good people. It wasn't like the movie, because like the movie, y'all be all dead, or people be shaking each other and everything else. But because that's not the situation, it's more difficult to find the drama and good people, because you are still checking for each other. You are still thinking about this person as, yes, I want to win that money. So the only things you can really do is basically stand your ground and do what you need to get done to win the money. Absolutely. I get that too. So I guess the other thing is like, now that you've gotten into the dorms, you kind of, when did y'all line start? When you got the gambling game? When did that start?
Well, my first, in the tents before red light, green light, I met Marcus.
Okay.
He was number 209. I was 204. So just based on number, and number buddies played a huge role in this game. Huge role. You can see Chad and Mai, 8'6", 8'7". I mean, a huge role.
Uh-huh.
So Marcus and I were talking in the tent before red light, green light. We reconnected after. Shortly after that, I had a plan going in. I wanted to put my puzzle together.
Okay. So you already knew what you doing.
I knew it. Well, I thought I knew what I was doing. But my puzzle, the hardest part in these games, the hardest piece of your puzzle is to find that true ride or die that when it comes to it, push comes to shove, they may even sacrifice their own game for you. I found that piece first.
Oh, wow.
Marcus is the nicest, most genuine, gentle guy. We bonded because we're older. We bonded because we're dads. We bonded over so many things. So for me, I needed to find that person, and I found him first. And then my puzzle started falling together. I saw Mullet Steve. I'm like, this guy is such a presence. I need him. I want him on my team. And strategically, if they're going to take somebody out, they're going to see him way before they see me. So he was my meat shield to hide behind with that big booty of his and those big quads. So that was also a strategy of mine. And Doc, I knew I needed some wisdom, somebody that could calm everybody down. And Lexi, I mean, my puzzle came together, and unfortunately, somebody shook it off the table at the wrong point, and the whole thing fell apart. But the Gambu Gang started probably day 2.
Okay.
And then Warships solidified our
right. And I think that right after you got into the dorms, then we had, was it cookies?
Cookie.
So what was your shape?
Yeah, I had Star. It didn't get shown. I had Star, and I literally finished and was holding it up as the clock ran out.
Oh my!
I mean, it was for me, it was dramatic.
Dramatic, yeah.
Because I almost didn't make it, and she helped a lot of us. She had done it before. She practiced, so she coached us before we went in how to, with the saliva and do this and take it out. And so she was a huge help to many of us.
Interesting.
Many of us, yes.
Oh, I was a helper too.
She was very generous with her time. She was I hurt my neck diving over the finish line in red light, green light. She was giving me massages. I don't know what she was using, but I was crying. But she was helpful to everyone. She really was.
That's awesome.
She was a mom in there.
So basically, Brad was the only helpful one in there.
There were a few. There were
y'all in there. That's good to know. Like, I had no idea that. I didn't even know that about mine. I was still doing massages with people, but they didn't really show her on that level of help and demonstrating how good she was with everybody. They didn't really show that.
She helped, I don't even know,
and
30 of us with the cookie.
Isn't that funny? That's beautiful. So when you finished, what was that like for you?
Oh, and when I finished and when we went out of there, the adjudicators were looking at, and then there were tins just piled up of all the cookies that had finished. And I said, "Can I keep this?" Yeah. And they said, "Sure." And it had sand in it. I ate that thing. It was I don't eat cookies or sweets. That was the best thing had eaten it in a week. It tasted so good. I didn't care that it was covered in sand. I ate that thing. It was so good.
It gave me a little flavor.
Oh man,
with those crunchy bits.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
I'm sure you added a little bit more dimension when it.
I savored that for 2 hours.
Oh my God. So the food you said, I've heard this thing about the food, man. It was the food really, I guess because like I always talk about myself with this kind of thing, because I'm an ex-personal trainer, and then I don't know if people like they're, being in the military, because I haven't talked to anybody who's been in the military yet. So I don't know how they feel about having those rashes and everything compared to the food that was in there. Was the food how bad it was? Because I was just talking today to someone about how when I was in shelters, like the food was kind of bland a lot of times, and we would go through the chow line, and when we were eating, I ate whatever. And then as a trainer, as I got older, I became a personal trainer. And I feel like food sometimes, as a trainer, your food, just when I was training for certain competition, the food is so chalky. It has no flavor whatsoever. So I'm like, really? Was it that bad?
The food was garbage. It was trash. But you know, as at least where I'm from, and I don't want to say American in general, like a lot of us live to eat instead of eat to live. You know,
I guess that is the thing.
In the dorm, you were eating just to live, and I'll be honest, I thought we got way too much food. I was prepared to eat way less than that.
Wow.
I talked about how bad the food was every day because I wanted to get in people's heads and make them quit.
You was playing a game.
Oh yeah. And I could eat like I don't eat that much anyway. I'm not a big guy, so and I try to stay away from carbs, blah blah blah, all that stuff. But I was ready to eat way less than that.
See, you sound like me.
But it was not good.
Yeah.
The oatmeal, if your porridge, whatever it was called, was garbage. The chicken, I actually like the chicken. Everybody said the boiled chicken was terrible. There was no spice or seasoning, but I broke it up, mixed it up. Not a lot of people didn't like it, but I can eat like that every day. I'm not a foodie, so I could.
I think I'm the same way.
I could have done that for a long time.
Yeah, like fasting, and sometimes, I mean, if I have to put myself on a regimen of some kind, I can fast pretty much all day and eat one meal a day easily, no problem. I've been told I should get on the show. We're gonna talk about that one of these times. I don't know if it'll happen. We're gonna see. But anyway, so you got through cookies, and it was one of the best things you had in over several days at this time.
Yes.
I just can't imagine. Then you get it. Then you get in there, back into the dorms. The next game was Warships. Who team were you on?
That's where the Ganbu gang really got together. Okay. I was the captain. Joel, what a great, smart kid he is. He's a K-pop star in Korea.
Yeah, I remember that.
He looks like a model. His voice should be on everything that's ever said. I mean, the guy's great. And going into that, obviously, we all thought it was tug of war.
Yes.
And of course, the one team we really didn't want to face was Big Chad, Grizzly Bear.
Okay.
Because he wasn't the only one. He had Teo. He had this guy Kwame. They had a huge team.
Mm-hmm.
But we thought we had it. I mean, we had Doc.
Yeah.
We had Lexi, who's tiny, but she's a Hollywood stunt woman. She's a badass. So we thought we could hang, but we weren't sure. We weren't sure if it was going to be a great matchup for us. So walking in there, we were surprised, but kind of happy that it was something different.
That's exactly what I'm going to ask you. So when you walked in, you was like, okay, thank God that this is not tug of war. Yes. That's what you. So you was happy about it.
I was happy. We had 3 people that wanted to be captain.
Okay.
And I was in these games. You have to kind of. I stayed in the background as much as I could, but for something told me this is where you have to step up. Lead this team here. They'll have your back if you can get them through this. So I gave the New Broccoli speech of the century. I told them how I play this every day with my little kid and how I played this. I'm a twin. My twin and I have played this millions of times. I think I played Battleship once in my whole life. But I gave this speech of the century, and I wanted to go last. Yes. Because to me, the last thing you hear is the first thing you remember. So I was even trying to be strategic with my speech, and it was unanimous that I got picked somehow. And I picked Joel as my lieutenant, and we only lost 2 people.
Okay.
So
only 2.
It was crazy. I felt terrible about that. Rebecca and Mikey, I'm so sorry.
I figured the shit back in Michael's eyes. It is whatever. It's whatever now at this point. Under the water, and that you're forgiving. Absolutely. So you, so you was captain, you lost 2 people. How did you feel after losing those 2 people? I know that it was part of your team, but they weren't part of the Gambu.
Well, everybody that was ever with us was part of the Gambu. Okay. Really. They weren't the original 5, but anybody that we ended up hooking up with, Steve says, we had an open door. You want to join with us for a game, you're part of it now. You're in the family. So, losing them, we lost them first. We lost our 2 boat first. Okay. So the chances of us winning were slim.
Yeah, because you lost 2. Yeah,
and they were able to hit just 2 shots and get rid of one of our boats. They only needed to knock out one more boat, and we landed on their 5 boat. So it took us so many shots to get rid of the 5. We were discouraged, to say the least. I didn't let that on to the team, but the way it happened, people are saying there's no way they made that up. That was staged. That was acted.
And it was real.
For us to come down to that final shot and have to pick between F5 and F8.
Yes. So, because of that situation, literally you chose not yours. You didn't choose make your decision. You chose Doc's decision. And then what made you say, I'm gonna go with this one? What made you turn your thoughts to go to that? Like literally, what?
Well, the way they edited it is not exactly how it went.
Okay.
So every pick, I didn't want to be the person deciding by myself, because even though as a captain, as your husband knows, our life was on the line too, even if the majority of our team stayed. But we went around. What do you think here? What do you think? And we came to that one. Perna and Elliot and James were all the way in the back corner, and I said, guys, everybody, please stop. I got to hear from them too. And everybody gave their opinion. I said, I have 5 kids. For some reason, 5 is screaming to me. But we all went around, and everybody gave their opinion. And Doc said, I have 18 grandkids. I'm thinking it's 8. Marcus also said 8. I think Dylan said 8. So Doc wasn't the only one, but I'd be lying if I said him saying 8 wasn't the tipping factor that pushed me over 8, because the guy's been around a long time. He's really smart, and we called him wisdom. So I'm like, I'm going to go with Doc here.
Interesting. 8 turns sideways. It's an infinity now. It's an infinity. So,
maybe that played a role too.
I mean, feel it. That's awesome, man. Because that was you. Yeah. I remember. The thing is, I've watched it, but I've watched it like once or twice, and it was a while ago now. That and all these new things have been happening. But y'all don't know. What y'all don't know is that I've interviewed approximately. I have no clue right now how many people I've interviewed, and I started thinking about everybody that I interviewed. And again, I don't go. My questions. I don't have questions written down. I actually just go with the conversation. So it seems like I have to get a little plugs for you, but once I hear, I was like, I can't remember now.
Sure.
So yeah, so that was very actually suspenseful, watching you do that. I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, oh my God, you chose 8. I was like, oh my God, I remember.
I was there and went through it, and while I'm watching it, I was on the edge of my seat. I'm like, don't pick 5, don't pick 5. I already knew what happened. So it was a really intense moment, and it was just cool for that to turn out like that, and to see the look on Doc's face. He's 69 years old. The guy is a badass, and to watch how happy he was, I mean, it was incredible. And when we got back to before we went to the dorm, I said, listen, don't tell anybody who the captain was. I don't want anybody to know that. I don't want no credit. I want all the blame. Do not tell anybody that I was the captain. I want to put a target on myself. Not that would have, but I didn't want any chance of having a target.
When Doc was eliminated.
Brutal.
That was like right after worship, right?
It was the next test.
Yeah. So when he was eliminated, what was that feeling like for you? I ask these questions because honestly, I'm not in the game, so I can't imagine. And these are y'all friendships, y'all created inside. So what was that like for you to see part of a major part of what you collected in the beginning to just have to be eliminated just like that?
It was brutal because Steven, the face of our alliance, had just gotten eliminated.
It's true.
Right? So when she started talking about her reasoning about an all-men's alliance, which we were not, we had Lexi, we had Rebecca, but when she started talking about that, if you watch the episode, my head is like this because I thought she was talking about me. Mm-hmm. And then when she picked Doc, first, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of happy it wasn't me.
Of course.
But I was very sad that it was Doc. I mean, everybody loved the guy. I had talked to him for hours about his bees and all the babies he delivered, that he saved their lives, and he's such an interesting guy.
So for y'all, a lot of people, I've heard people ask this question: was Doc a doctor?
Yes.
He was a doctor.
Yes.
Because that was a question that was constant. He was a OB.
Yes.
Oh, sweet. Okay. I'm sorry. We keep going. So he's
but so when he was also picked, it was devastating, and we rallied the troops. We had a meeting. I locked the doors to the bathroom, which I did multiple times, and I don't know if anybody realizes it was me because I told everybody they were cleaning the bathrooms. But that was a way for us to have a secret meeting without anybody walking in on us. In my humble opinion, and Felicia came up to me afterwards. She said to Marcus and I, and she said, "Guys, I'm so sorry." I said, "Listen, we don't hold any grudge. That's your move. I don't think it was the best move. I'm not going to lie. I think if you want to weaken an alliance, sure, take out Steve. He was probably the face. Yeah. And now take out another, like the mom and son, their blood. They're actually that's the tightest bond in the building. So I think she should have, maybe I'm biased because I want Doc to go, but I think she should have maybe tried to weaken 2 separate alliances with one shot, you know. But whatever, she made her pick and good for her.
So when you, that's what I actually like. So when you, when she picked Doc, like the reasoning for her picking Doc, did she ever give you that reason for it?
She did. They didn't show it, but she said I'm going to pick this person because they're trying to form an all-male or an all-male alliance. She said
that, so is that the reason? That's what I understood, but is that the real reason?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, because it's like Doc of all people.
Yeah.
Again, you do say that was Doc about people, but yeah, so.
What they didn't show was when Doc and Steve they went and did a chore and they played Dachi and they won the chocolate bar. This is something that not a lot of people know about. When Doc came out, he said, damn, I got a chocolate bar. We won a chocolate bar, and we're only going to split it with the Gambu gang. I said, okay. So everybody sat kind of with the same people when they were eating, but everybody was friendly. And Steve was breaking it up and trying to hand it out. And I said, dude, put that thing away. There's people everywhere. Don't draw any attention to us. Because he was so noticeable and so apparent to everyone just because of his hair and his butt.
Yes.
And I said, put that thing away. And literally, I'm like, he said, do you want a piece? I said, no. And I turned like this, and Felicia was sitting right next to me. I was very, very friendly with her. She didn't sit with us to eat, though. So as soon as I saw that, I started looking around to try to figure who else is watching, who sent her over here to get some intel. And Steve's going, oh, it's so good. It's so good. And she leaned in front of me and said, what's good? And he said, oh, my rice. So I don't think, and if she did, I'm not aware. I don't think she knew exactly what was going on, but she knew something was going on.
So this situation happened
literally 20 minutes before we did the Jack in the Box.
That's where it came from.
Yeah,
that's exactly.
She didn't know what,
yeah.
But she was like, well, something fishy is going on here.
That's
maybe she
exactly
thought
where it
maybe
came.
she thought he had an advantage. I don't know.
And by him being older, she probably thought he was a leader, but because he did say it a lot. He was all about Gamble Gang, law and GG. You know, it is what it is.
Yep.
Like pronouncing it very well and blatantly, like this is a gang over here. And he came up with the name, correct?
No.
Or it was you?
Okay.
I
came up with that name before I got to the game.
Okay.
And I had a very strategic reason for coming up with that name.
And where does the name come from?
The name is from the show.
Okay.
The old man and the main character, when they were playing marbles, Gambu means friends for life, family, I have your back forever. And I wanted to pay homage to the show. I didn't want to be the left side of the dorm, 4th bed up alliance. Where's the reason for that? Yeah. I wanted something that would pay homage to the show and that people that are watching would go, well, shoot, that's from the, we're reading for that. That's a word that everybody that knows the game would know.
Yeah, it's like I do it too, but I just wanted to make sure I was getting right when we saying like, you know, I know you got it from a show and so I asked you, where did you get it from? That's why I asked you that point. All right, so after you went through the pick the eliminations and all this good stuff, now we're moving on to
now we're at marbles.
Yeah, marbles. So with marbles.
Marbles was tough.
I didn't see a lot of your. Did I see a lot of your?
They showed a little bit. They showed a fair amount of it. Yeah, I had to play Marcus, my best friend.
Okay.
When they did the picnic, they make it look like nobody knew what was going on. We were all pretty sure that was going to be marbles. I told Marcus, I think we should split up here. And he said, listen, we've been through this together since day one. If somebody's going to take us out, I'd rather be each other.
He was smart because I feel like all those people who tried to defy destiny.
Yes.
I'm going to split up. You would have probably not made it that far if you went with somebody else. That's what I feel. Because you know what you was doing, you defined, you trying to say, okay. But y'all were smart for staying with each other, but keep going, okay.
Yes. And what they also didn't show, they made it, the way they, with the baskets, I'm a huge Survivor fan. Huge. I've been applying for 22 years to that darn
My
show.
goodness.
And it's all about finding advantages and idols. And as soon as they said you can open that picnic basket, I went right to the bottom. And I knew it was a false bottom, and I opened it up. I thought I was going to find an advantage in the game.
Yeah.
And I figured the first person that they would be able to see find it would get it. But when I opened it up, it was a marble bag, and it was a disadvantage. And I looked at Marcus, and he looked at me, and I just nodded. But in the show, they make it look like everybody was just partying and out the food forever before somebody. I found that thing in 2.3 seconds.
Oh, wow.
And that was pretty depressing. They had candy and brownies and chips, and it all tasted like garbage because it was depressing. Yeah, so we knew we were gonna have to take it. One of us was gonna take each other out.
Yeah, what game y'all playing?
We just did a simple shooting game that I think a lot of people did. We put a bucket with some sand in it so they didn't bounce out. It had to be maybe 10 feet away. We drew lines. There was a rake there, a broom, and we brushed it to make it look nice and neat. We had a line, and it was just 10 shots, and whoever got the most in won.
And how many you getting?
When we did a practice round first, I think I made 8 out of 10. And he was shooting underhand. I think he made 1. And then he said, wait, you're shooting overhand. I'm going to try that. And when we did it for real, I think I made 7, and I didn't have to shoot the last 3 because he couldn't catch up at that point.
Was it difficult trying to figure out a game for y'all?
No. I mean, he's a big cornhole guy, and I figured, and we're both kind of athletic. And I said, listen, we're not, and I knew that's another reason why I wanted us to do it together, because as you saw, some people couldn't come to an agreement and went out of the game for being stubborn. If I did not want that to happen to myself,
so you did it pretty fast then.
We knew the game within 2 minutes, within a minute. We were like, let's just do a shooting game. We'll put it down there, and we were reasonable. We wanted both of us to have an equal chance of winning, and it was pretty fair. And nobody had an advantage, and that's how I wanted. I wasn't gonna pull a fast one on him and play the NIM game or anything crazy like that, like somebody did. I was not gonna do that. Maybe if it was somebody I didn't know, I would have tried to do something dishonorable like that, but not with my best friend in the game.
Yes,
I kept us both honest.
Yeah, good for you. So what's your relationship like with Marcus now?
We leave each other crazy voice messages 2, 3, 4 times a week. I haven't seen him since the game. I was wishing he would have been here for this. But I'm gonna go down there. He's a big cook, so he's gonna make some barbecue, and we're gonna get our eat on pretty soon.
All right, Marcus. I wish you could have made it, because we'd have loved you to cook out here.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
It's true. So you got the marbles, and then we go to
the safety check.
Yeah. That's where it happened. The most depressing part of this whole situation. We wind up right back at the end. Yeah. But hey, how do you feel at this very moment in regards to X and O? How did you feel at that moment when you knew that you were not going to win, or you didn't win?
When we walked out of that dorm, I wanted to be the last one out of the 11 guys. I got to the doorway, and I was last because I wanted to be able to say, listen, I was 21st. I wasn't 31st, I was 21st. And Perna was picking me. It's confirmed. He was picking me next. But I got to the door, and there's an overhead shot, and you can see me stop. And they said, you can go. And I said, no, I can't. They said, what do you mean? I said, my legs are not letting me go out of here. I am not supposed to leave here. When I got out, the main producer, Holly, she grabbed me by the collar and pulled me into the confessional room. And I'm glad they didn't show it, because I was ugly crying like a 4-year-old. I just felt like I disappointed my kids and my mom and my dad and my wife. And I just felt like a total failure, because it wasn't anything. I didn't have a chance to save myself. I didn't lose a game. I just didn't get picked. So I thought it was a crappy way to eliminate 11 people that far into the game. But overall, I was sad. I didn't want to let it. $4.5 million is a huge life-changing thing for me.
It is.
Honestly, I don't care about the money. I wanted to win. I went in there to win the game. I didn't go in there to make friends, but I made so many friends. It was a great side effect. But I went in there to win. So to lose, that's what was going through my head. You just lost. You lost the game. That was what hurt.
But the thing is, to be honest, I say the word lose. What did you really lose it? Because was it ever yours?
I guess not. I guess.
The thing is, like, you have to think about it that way. And it's not like you. Now, if you went back out and you didn't have a job or you didn't have your career, then that's another conversation. But because you're still the same person that you went as, well, now you're not really probably the same person. You probably have a lot of differences, because that's my next question. Did you feel as though this game changed you any, and did it allow you to grow up?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, everybody has different things that they consider a priority. For me, I have 5 kids. Being a dad, my dad was the best. And being a dad is why I'm here. It's why I get up every day. I need to see them. I need to talk to them. I need to hang out with them. And I didn't need an extra push to be a good dad, but to not see them for 3 weeks and have no communication, it strengthened my need to see them and to be there for them and to do everything with them. And it just solidified this is what means the most in the whole world to me. It's been at that.
Absolutely. That's something that no one can ever take from you. That's considered to not be necessarily a loss, because actually the growth that you have in you, the tremendous, like, you want to identify now yourself with more your family, things that you probably have already been doing, but it's just something more tasteful or more, like, you want more of them now. And tell me, to be honest with you, I feel like that is actually a win, you know, because of the fact that now the growth that you have within yourself allowed you to now see things a little differently. It's like a much clearer and better view of the life that you know that you already got. So to be honest, I feel like I'm learning myself as I talk to different individuals who've been in this game. At first, I was feeling some kind of way about certain things. Now, as I talk about it and then I see it, y'all actually did win. Y'all won a lot in there. If it's not a matter of you just winning yourself, understanding who you are as an individual, is who you want to be when you get out of here, or when you get out of there, and, you know, be for the rest of the people that you love. Did you have to do any process of healing?
Just no time. I've been through bigger losses than this in my life, and I know time heals everything. It took a while. I'm still eating out of my wife bought me the exact tin. I may or may not have stolen a few of the actual utensils. I still use the utensil. I eat out of the tin. So in my head, I'm going to get back in there somehow. But it took a little time. It still hurts to watch when to relive it, to watch that elimination. You know, to when the show came out, it brought back some bad, vivid memories. But yeah, I'm through it. I'm past
it now, because I was like, the only way you let go and allow yourself to truly heal, you got to let go of that other stuff. Because that's what was in the game. That's the thing that allowed you to have that moment of, like, depression, that moment of, like, sadness, that moment of, like, disappointment, whatever. That's what did it. And in order for your growth to be, or for you to completely heal, you do have to let it go. Let it go with ease. Because the better you let it go with ease, the quicker something else can come into your world and allow you to be inspired to do things that you need to do for yourself.
Absolutely.
So that's so important. We as individuals, we forget that sometimes we hold on to things that we think we need to hold on to. Even now, you shouldn't torture yourself like that.
I like it. It's fun.
Okay, you're doing it for fun, and it's different.
No, yeah.
Yeah, this is fun. It's totally different. But yeah, I'm very serious about that kind of thing. I'll be like, don't put that tin over here. Matter of fact, throw that thing in the trash can. I don't need it. You know what I mean? Give me my silverware. Give me things that I'm supposed to have. Whatever that is, And I get it if it's something that you want to remind yourself of in order to get back in it. But I feel like the quicker you let that go, the quicker you allow yourself to heal, and the more processing you'll be able to do to allow yourself to grow into whatever that is and, become that inspiration. So my next question is, was there anybody in it that's inspired you, or did you feel like you became an inspiration yourself?
Oh, I'm sure I didn't inspire anybody. I'm just a normal guy, but there were plenty of people that inspired me in there. Doc, this girl, Hannah, she is a physical beast, and she is as competitive as it gets. She inspired me to keep going. Your husband, and I'm not saying that because I'm talking to you. He is the most positive, generous guy I've met, and you know better than me.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't get any. There's nobody nicer than this guy.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny when I say these words, Brad, he gets mad at me. He's got mad at me because I've done it. I said, baby, it is about you. It's about you. Because of the fact it don't be just me talking. People see you as you are. I mean, for him to put an event together for the Squid Gamers that was here, and it wasn't just for them, it was for everybody, because his friends, our friends, everybody was here. And everybody had a great, beautiful time. Now, mind you, I'm watching a lot of the things unfold, and I was like, there's times when I only can help where I can. And, where he wants me to help him, so I'll help here and there. But majority of everything was really done on him, where he had to pull some things together. And I watched, oh, God, it fell through. And then he was like, got to go to the next step. And I was so happy when he finally got that thing finished. And I was like, oh, Jesus, finally, thank you. But when he finally got it done, and I was very excited for him because of the fact I know how much he'd been trying to book this particular racetrack or find a place that we could get it from. But it all worked out fine. One thing about him, too, is that I know that me and him both will say this. We usually get what we want. And by getting what you want, it's a terminology for you to be positive about yourself. So your outlook is gonna always be is what it is, you know. Sometimes I'm the affirmation queen, but yet I do have sometimes where I need a motivation.
Sure.
And I pull on him for it, you know. So
well, it was a weird, traumatic place to be, stressful environment, and there were a lot of people that just complained the whole time. The beds are too hard. Yeah. The food sucks.
No people
it's
died
too
early,
cold.
right?
It's too hot.
They were going early, right?
Some of them lasted a while. But for me, I got strength from, and I don't even know if he knows it, from people like your husband and Charlie. When they would have their shower hour power, sometimes I didn't even have to shower. I would just go in there and sit over on the side and just listen to them. And the positivity is infectious. And these people that wanted to be just immersed in this negative, complaining place, I didn't want anything to do with those type of people.
Good for you.
I wanted to get positive people around me, and just listening to the two of those clowns talk in the shower. I can't repeat a lot of the stuff they were saying, but man, was it funny with the burger in one hand, and he knows what I mean. That's the kind of stuff that as much as I was in there to compete, I was taking in those type of experiences while I was in there, and that's the stuff that's gonna stick in my old head, for a long time. I'm not gonna forget those little moments.
You said it. I asked you about inspiration. You said you're probably an inspiration to anybody. When you got out of the show, you were.
I don't know.
But you have 5 kids.
I do.
Didn't they see their daddy on that TV screen?
They did, and they were worried that I was going to make that embarrassing, but I did. I don't think I did.
And your wife saw
you
on that screen.
She did.
Now, you can't sit here and tell me when they saw you, they were smiling.
They were.
Absolutely.
They were proud of me.
Very much so. So I want to hear that. I want to hear that shit because I know it's valid, okay? I know it's valid because seeing anyone do this thing for the amount of time you did it, to allow yourself to be, distant from your family. I learned something today, and I'm probably going to mention it again when I talk to Marina, but I learned something today. I had no idea that my husband talked about me so much.
Yes, he did.
I had no idea, like how much he talked about me. And
I feel like, and I wasn't around him all the time, and I feel like I knew you before personally, Yeah, absolutely.
And when I found out today, she was talking to me about something, and I was like, I told her how I was listening to how we heard when I can't remember our interview, but we were talking about energy. His damn energy came all the way from down there to here. I was getting in the car, and I was sitting, one of my favorite songs came on. My song, his ringtone came on. Baby, baby, baby. And I call him baby all the time. And so when that song came on, I was like, what in the heck is this song? It never comes on the radio. I heard this song since just like 10 years or something. And this song came on. So I'm assuming that's when my husband must have been really talking about me. Or maybe he might have missed me just a little bit and he didn't even know it,
He knew it.
So I thought that was so special because she was like, it was 2 things that he really talked a lot about, and that was his Ninja Warrior experience, but he couldn't really talk too much about that, and me. And I was like, you saw those tears. I had to pull my tears back because I'm getting so more involved with this situation where it just makes me understand more. I had no idea this was going to affect me that way, but yeah.
Listen, we shared, those of us that were genuine, and there were a lot of people that are in there that were influencers and TikTokers, and their whole purpose was to get more followers. People like your husband, we were in there to share intimate details about our lives with each other and be vulnerable because that was the way we could connect and try to get them damn guards. And those are the things that we shared about you and about my wife and my kids. And that's the things that we talked about. And that's what made us all connect so much.
And that's why I say that the only problem with the show is the fact that there was too many good people.
They probably were hoping there were a lot more bad.
That's what I was talking about at the beginning, because of the fact there was so many good people. They found so many beautiful people, different backgrounds, different everything. And it's like, and y'all blended together, but you would then create the drama, so the drama had to be created.
Yep.
And that's the thing. Like, I just feel like that's, as I've been around all of these 60-40 people this weekend, and I'm just sitting in the energy, and I'm just noticing how much love is there, and it just makes me feel like I'm like, even though I wasn't in the game, I feel like I was to some degree because of your experiences. Tell me, who are you outside the game? Who are you when you went in the game, and who are you outside? Who are you now? Who are you like?
They said how you play is who you are, I think was their thing. I tried to just be myself. I wasn't worried about getting camera time. Luckily, I don't know how I did, because like I'm nowhere near as impressive as your husband. I can tell you that, and so many other people. But I just wanted to. I wasn't worried about that. I was trying to win and compete, and I compete every day with myself. I want to be a better version of myself every day in one way. It's not easy, but I'm trying to find a way every day to be better. Yeah. Better dad, better husband, better medical provider, better coach. In one way, I have to do it every day. All right, I improved a little bit, because I'm not great at anything, but I'm a work in progress, and I'm trying to be good. And
yeah, you know how that things be said when you say those kind of things. Don't tell me what you ain't when you are. Okay? You're very great. You're great at your energy is beautiful. It's great. Okay? So when you tell me you're not great at any, you just keep going. We'll talk about it in a second. I'll get my words together. But you're not gonna tell me that you're not anything.
I wanna push myself to be better at everything in some way every day. So for me going in, that's who I am, and that's who I wanted to be. And really, I wanted to make my wife proud. I wanted to make my kids proud. So yeah, I won.
You
because
did.
they are.
Absolutely, you did it. Yeah, there we go.
Sure, I won. It still hurt a little bit to not being picked for the kickball game. I gotta say,
it's stung a little bit.
A little bit.
A little people.
Yeah.
You know, the stain will in there. You know, I get it, and I get that, because the hopes that we have and desires that doesn't mean we can't achieve them. Just because this is one opportunity we put in our face, that doesn't mean you don't have the same opportunity later. You got very close. And you can be even closer once you open up that energy to allow your vision to become closer to you, who you want it to be. That starts with you understanding that you are already great. That starts with you understanding that you are the man that you need to be. That starts with understanding that you are perfect just as you are. And when you understand that, you allow your life to be more vibrant, even more secure in who you're becoming. But you got to do that first in order for your vision of your future to be coming to you. So that's where we're gonna start. So now that you're out of the gate, do you feel as though there was any changes made for yourself? Do you feel like you changed a little bit, or?
Absolutely. I mean, to be away from my wife and the kids for even that short amount of time, you know, we have a code word now. Like if we're getting aggravated, or if we're,
I love it.
I say it to her and she says it to me. Like if the kids are throwing stuff and breaking stuff, and you're like, oh, 204. And then that's our recenter. Listen, things could be way worse than they are, right? He just shattered your statue. It's not that big of a deal.
Oh, I love
so
it.
that's our recenter for us, 204. And then we both come back to a piece of place.
Oh, that's beautiful, Dad. I mean, love it. I love it. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so husband. We about to get something like that. I'm about to go call your ass out and call you 3337. Correct yourself, okay? You get aggravated with me. You be getting aggravated with me at times. I'm gonna say 337, bro.
I do have to admit, she has to say that to me way more than I have to say that.
Exactly. Something about y'all, boy, it's okay though. It ain't family counseling. It ain't couple counseling. How long y'all been together?
15 years.
Yeah, exactly.
15 years, yep.
Yeah, long ass time. So I get it. And that's the thing. And then the problem you came up for me, I know me and my husband, we came out, man, we had some things we had to work with. Was it kind of similar?
I was just so happy to be home. I mean, I knew I was going to miss her and miss them, but it was a lot more than I thought I was.
Absolutely.
You know? I tried to put it out of my head. I tried to say, listen, we're here for a reason. Don't think about that stuff. But every meal I had a ritual. I closed my eyes. I said all the kids' names, and I had a picture of them from certain points in their life. I said it every time, and I said her name. And if you're watching, when I'm waiting to be picked and not picked, I had my eyes closed, and people keep saying, "Oh, were you praying?" And I said, "Nope." My mantra was, Kelly, Avery, Danielle, Danny, Baylor, Ash. I want to come home, but I'm not ready yet. Like I said that before every meal, every morning, every night. And that's what I was saying over and over in my head when James made that last pick. So, yeah.
Then, like, when you said I want to come home, I'm telling you, man, I want to say that Because, you know, the universe hears the word, I want to come home. At that moment.
Maybe James heard me.
Nah, at that moment, the universe said he want to come home. Even though he ain't ready yet, but he said the words, I want to come home. If you do, if you don't, you say not. Whatever the universe hears the things that it needs to hear. I want to come home. And you were standing with that feeling. And so it hurt you, but it hurt you opposite of what you were here for. I'm all about the words. I be like, now I'm going to say, I want to stay in the game. That's what I would have been saying. I want to stay in the game. Not ready yet. Okay? Whatever. But, you know, you say the opposite of what it is that you might think would be accurate. So what do you do currently for yourself? Who are you?
For work?
Mm-hmm. I like to know.
Sure. Well, what my job is, I'm a dad. What I do for work is I'm in the medical field. I'm a physician assistant. A lot of people don't know what that is. I did orthopedic surgery for 18 years. 2 years ago, I made a switch, and I'm a medical director of an occupational health clinic called Concentra. It's a pretty good.
I know that.
So I've been doing that for 2 years. Better schedule, better work-life balance, better make it to all the kids' events and stuff like that. So it was a much-needed move for me, and it worked out well.
So you are a man in the industry, healthcare, sorely loving. I know. Then is there anything that you want to tell? You know, I love my words of inspiration, words of wisdom since our interview. Anything that came about that you think you want to tell people out there?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a dad, this again for me, it's why I'm here. But if you're a dad, be an active dad. You're not just to go out and make money for the house. Your job is to change them when they're dirty. Your job is to stay up with them when they're sick. Your job is to fold the clothes too. Be an active dad. That's where we build bonds with our kids. Don't be the dad that says, don't talk to daddy today. It's Sunday and I got to watch football. Every time I hear that, it hurts my soul to hear dads pushing their kids off and ignoring them to watch a bunch of guys play baseball or football or basketball. Be with your kids, man. You're only going to see their first step once. Their second birthday party happens once. Don't be out golfing with your friends. Be a good dad. And to me, to be a good dad, you have to be an active dad physically too. If you're in good shape, you're not going to fall asleep on the couch at 6 p.m. because you just had 33 bags of chips. Be an active dad and be a physically active dad, and tell me if it works for you. It's working for me.
Yeah. I've enjoyed this interview, Dan.
So have I.
It's very refreshing. Well, guys, as my normal fit, Dan, you're going to have to be eliminated. So you have to die. That's what we do. I'm dead to you. Thank you, guys, for tuning in to another edition of Tronda Talks, all things squid related, Royal Inspire. Bye-bye.